don't see Vinny, right? Oh, there he is. All right, Lou, let me know when we're good to go.
You're all set, Allison.
Great. All right, I'd like to call this Board of Ed meeting to order at 7:15 p.m., June 28th, 2021. We have a quorum. I'm going to start with the invocation and the pledge. We beseech you, Almighty God, to bless this meeting of the Board of Education. So guide and rule over our hearts and our minds, that all our deliberations and decisions may be made in accordance with your will and lead to the advancement and welfare of the community of Stratford whom we serve. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I'd also like to start this evening with a moment of silence for a staff member who passed away recently, Catherine Metzger. Thank you, everyone. We are going to move right into the public speaker session, as we do not have any presentations this evening. We have 5 speakers tonight. I just wanted to make a comment that in moving forward in August, starting next school year, the policy did change in terms of speaking to items on our agenda, so we can get board business done. But I just wanted to make that comment. Is Melanie on the call? Melanie. Okay, I will come back to Melanie. I'm just going to get my timer out here. Okay, let's go. Yevgeny?
Yep, I'm here.
Hi, Yevgeny. If you could get your name and address, and then I will start a 3-minute timer for you. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, I can hear you well. Can you hear me?
Yes, just please state your full name and your address, and then you can begin. I'll start the timer, okay?
Okay, sounds good. So, my name is Evgeny Gerasimov, and my address is 32 Happy Hollow Circle, Unit B in Stratford. So, I can begin my comments, right?
Yes, please.
Okay. So, hello members of the Stratford Board of Education and the public. My name is Evgeny Gerasimov, and I'm a Stratford resident. I just wanted to comment that I oppose the policy of wearing masks full time by our school children while at school. I oppose mask mandate for school kids for many reasons. First, masks make learning for younger children much harder. My son is 4 years old, and he will be starting kindergarten this fall. So to properly learn how to speak and read, he needs to see how words and sounds are formed. So he needs to see the lips, teeth, and tongues of teachers and his classmates. Masks will prevent all of this. It will be also hard for him to learn how to write with a mask, close to his eyes. In addition, school is where kids learn how to be responsible members of our society, how to interact with others. To learn the skills, kids need to interact without fear and learn how to read facial expressions. How are they going to do it if everyone will be still wearing masks and being afraid to get the virus? Second, regular masks do not stop viral transmission and can even be harmful when worn for prolonged periods of time. Masks can prevent kids from getting the right amount of oxygen necessary for brain and body to function. Also, in a recent study, it was shown that after a day of wearing child's masks can be contaminated with bacteria, including bacteria causing pneumonia, tuberculosis, meningitis, sepsis, blood infections, and as well as antibiotic-resistant bacteria. At this point in time, masks are more of a hazard for children than emergency authorized viral protection device. Finally, it makes very little public health sense to keep masks mandatory. Vaccination rate, one of the highest in the nation, and Connecticut transmission rate been very low for a long time. It's time to drop the mask mandate. And even if Connecticut transmission rate increases in the fall, school-related transmissions have been very low this past year. Unlike hospitals and elder care facilities, schools are not COVID-19 super spreader institutions. In addition, children, who get COVID, their symptoms are often mild. Almost nobody dies. The school full recovery and natural immunity from future variants. In many European countries, I'm from Europe, for example, England, France, Ireland, younger school children were never required to wear masks at all. In Germany and Netherlands, for example, masks were optional for all school children in 2020-2021 school year. So there was no real difference in rate of infections or hospitalizations for school children in those countries, so it doesn't make sense really. And recently 27 U.S. states have abandoned universal masking schools. So it's time to follow their example and return our kids to normal life. And some Connecticut school districts have done so. I'm just going to read the list now. Gotham, Fairfield, Newtown, Simsbury, Southeastern, Lyme, Old Lyme, and Walcott. So these towns' education boards listen to their residents' parents and abolish mask mandates for schools in the fall. So let's do it in Stratford as well. There is no real need for masks at this point. Thank you.
Thank you. Is Angelina on the call? Angelina? Is Donna Carter on the call? Catalina Cano?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, hi, Miss Cano?
Hi, how are you? This is Angela.
Oh, Angela, okay, great. Angela, if you could just state your name, your full name and your address, and then I'll start the 3-minute timer. And if you don't mind, if you start hearing the beeping, that means the 3 minutes is up, okay?
Yep. Okay, so my name is Angela Caponera, and my address is 29 Blamey, Blamey Circle here in Stratford, 06614. And first, I just want to say I'm in full agreement with the previous speaker ahead of me, and I'm asking the Stratford Board of Ed to please make the face masks optional and per student and family choice for the 2021 to 2022 school year. Thank you very much. I'm all good.
Thank you. Was Miss Cano?
Yes. Hello?
Okay. Hi, can you hear me okay?
Yes, I can.
If you could just state your full name and your address, and then I'll start your timer.
Okay, Catalina Cano, 141 Garden Street, Stratford, Connecticut, 06614.
Great, you can start.
Okay, I want to say thank you to the Board of Ed for everything you have done in pushing through this pandemic. I really appreciate all the effort and everything. I'm agree with the last people having masks optional. I have my daughter, she received speech therapy, increased in therapy 2-3 times a week. It was very hard for her to have the mask on. It's not the same. So it would be ideal for the mask up. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you. Did Melanie join the call? Sagara? Or Donna Carter? Okay, I'm just gonna say it one more time. Donna Carter? I just see 3 numbers down at the bottom. I don't remember who. Maybe those are the callers from before, but. Or Melanie Sagara. All right, we're going to move on with the agenda then.
Hello?
Hi.
Hello. Hi, sorry, bear with me as I'm trying to understand this call for the first time.
Yep.
This is Melanie Costa.
Costa. Is your address 75 Layton Drive?
Yep, that's correct.
Oh, okay. I just have the wrong last name. I'm not sure what happened there.
It must be under my email. Melanie Segura is my maiden name.
Okay. Well, thank you. Thank you for speaking up and helping me out. Feel free, you can just say your full name and your address, and then I'll start your timer, Melanie.
Okay, my name is Melanie Costa. I live in Stratford, 75 Layton Drive. And I just want to say I'm really proud of Stratford schools and the board for always pushing through this school year and then even part of the previous school year. I know it's been really hard during a pandemic. And I'm just speaking tonight because I'm asking for masks to be optional. Other towns, for example, like Newtown and Fairfield and Old Lyme, they have masks optional for kids. And I'm very concerned because I have a kid, someone that's going to be in kindergarten, and she doesn't know any sounds of her letters. And I feel like masks should be optional because all she does is chew on a mask, and she needs to see her teacher smile, or she needs to see how these words are pronounced because she will get behind in school. Like my middle child is very behind with reading. I'm very concerned. I think the masks are affecting kids emotionally and psychologically. So I just wish they were optional because we could be damaging kids by this practice of requiring masks in school. Like hospitalizations are down, the daily positive rate is down. What we faced in early 2020 is more behind us, and things have changed now. And it shows that there's data that clearly shows that children are in almost zero danger of this severe illness or death from COVID. And they're largely asymptomatic. I'm a pediatric nurse in a busy pediatric office, and we are seeing no kids with symptoms of COVID. And the teachers are vaccinated now for the ones that want to be vaccinated. So I don't think teachers should have to wear masks either. Neither should the students. It should be optional, at least for the teachers too. And I just don't like the isolation. And there's going to be no distant learning. That really scares me because my daughter chews on a mask all day. She's 4 years old and she gets a rash on her face from the constant wetness. I just don't know what to do if masks are being forced. So I implore you to make masks optional for the 2021 school year and allow parents to choose what they feel is right for their children. If they want their kids to wear masks or not, they should be optional. And thank you very much for letting me talk on this Board of Ed meeting.
Thank you, Melanie. Did Donna join the call? Donna Carter or Donna maybe Carter? Is anyone on the call that signed up for public forum that I have not asked to speak yet or said their name? Just going to give it a few more seconds. I know sometimes if they muted themselves, it's okay. Okay, I'm going to move on to item E on our agenda this evening, the executive report. If you are not speaking or are on a call, if you could mute your phone for background noise, I'd appreciate it. Thank you. Dr. Robinson is not on our call this evening. Dr. Gaeta is here, though, to give us our superintendent's executive summary report. Dr. Gaeta?
Yes, good evening, everyone. I believe I was asked to give an update on the summer programs. I can speak to the programs that we currently have listed for this summer, And as many of you know, that we are using ESSER funding for a good portion of these programs. And I'm pleased to say that they seem to be very well represented in terms of the enrollment. To begin with, our extended school year program, which is run every summer, this year will be held at Soto Elementary School, and the student enrollment at this time is 413 students and 26 teachers. There are a number of support staff as well involved, and the dates for that program are July 6th through August 5th. We also, another program that's run here is our preschool full day, full year program. There are 26 students enrolled with 7 teachers. That also is run at Soto, and it runs from July 12th to August 6th. A new program that Dr. Clemmy mentioned during our financial meeting was the Kickstart into Kindergarten, which is a program that is being run through our Family Resource Center. There will be an enrollment of 20 students, 4 teachers, and it will also be held at Soto for during the month of July, beginning July 12th to August 6th. And this program is specifically for students who are entering kindergarten and who have not had preschool experience. So we're really excited about this particular program. As you all know, we're running a special summer program for our K through 6 students called STEAM, STEEM, and there are 2 sessions. The first one is going to be held on July 6th to July 15th. And that session already has 172 students signed up and 19 teachers who will be running programs in, again, grades K through 6. This program is being run at Franklin Elementary School. And then the second session has 166 students enrolled, again, 19 teachers. And that program will run from July 19th to July 29th. We have the 21st Century program that runs during the school year, after school at the middle school and the high school. This program has been run for several years through federal funding through the state. We're offering a specific summer program for these students. And at the middle level, from both of our middle schools combined, we have 53 students who are engaged in that program. There are 3 teachers. That particular program will be held at Flood Middle School. The dates are July 19th to July 30th. And at the high school, which will be held at Stratford High, the 2 high schools combined have 46 students who are enrolled. There are 2 teachers, and actually they're looking for they would like to have a 3rd teacher involved. Same dates, July 19th to July 30th. And then our 7 through 12 summer school program. This year at the high school level, we have 107 students enrolled in, for grades 9 through 12, with 147 enrollments, meaning that we have some students who are taking multiple courses. So 107 students, 143 enrollments in classes. There are 9 teachers involved in this, as well as some support staff. And at the same time, we're running 7th and 8th grade programs. At middle school students, we have 50 students so far in person, and then 47 students virtual. At the same time, July 1st through July 30th, and it's held at Stratford High School. We're running an enrichment program, an aviation program, and it is currently fully subscribed at 25 students, and that also will be run at Stratford High School at the same time. So we have a lot going on this summer. We've been very busy scrambling, trying to make sure we have everything in place, but we're very excited, and this is going to be a very interesting, busy summer for us.
Thank you, Dr. Gata. Janice, do you have a question?
I did have a quick question. My audio was going in and out when Dr. Gata was speaking about the Kickstart program. Could you clarify if you said 20 students and 4 teachers? Like that's
Yes.
what I got. So 4 teachers attending to 20 students.
Right, and this sort of follows the preschool protocol where we would have 2 classes, each with a teacher and at least a teacher's aide or another certified teacher. And again, this is a grant-funded program. So that is the enrollment. And we're currently accepting applications to that. And Lindsay Dickey, who is the Family Resource Director, is in the process of taking applications and reaching out to parents.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
I also have, I had a report, I think I was asked to do just a quick summary for the reopening plan that was part of the ESSER, the ARC ESSER application. So essentially, the superintendent brought together a committee of individuals to review our plan and propose a plan, a draft plan that was posted on the website on or about May 24th. We held the following dates for public input. On June 1st, there was a public forum that was attended by Dr. Robinson, Kim Velazquez, administrators, and other individuals to answer questions. Questions were submitted ahead of time so that these questions could be addressed, and the forum was recorded so that others could watch it. Also on that same date, there was an opportunity for a teachers focus group for teachers to give their input. On June 2nd, the diversity committee composed of teachers and administrators, we ran a focus group with them so that they could review the plan and give their input. On June 4th, we had a community focus group. On June 8th, the Portrait of a Graduate group committee, which includes teachers, parents, community members, administrators, and students. They provided, as a focus group, had a discussion and provided input regarding the plan. And on June 14th, we had a family caregiver focus group that met and discussed and asked questions about our plan. We also posted 2 surveys on the Stratford Family Information Hub. And one of the surveys was for family feedback and the other for community feedback. We collected all of that information. I would like to say that probably the biggest, the most frequently asked question was about quarantining. And Kim Velazquez was really very helpful. And there were questions about masking, just as we heard this evening. And essentially, if you look at our plan, after hearing all of the feedback that we received, we looked at the plan, tried to elaborate a little bit on some of the language that was used in the draft so that it was more clear. And that new version of the plan had to be posted according to the state guidelines by June 23rd. It was posted, the final plan is posted, but it's important to realize that as we go through the summer, there will be additional changes made depending upon how we as the state evolve. And so Kim is very careful to work, as you all know, with our district as well as our Stratford as well as our state health departments in making decisions and following the CDC guidance. So one of the things Kim was very careful about explaining, and she did a fabulous job, was that, just reassuring parents in the community that all of the information that's provided over the summer and as we get closer to school, there will be more guidance and more information that's released and made public, as well as information that will be shared with parents as we move forward. So we really thank all of those people who gave their input for the plan. If you'd like to see the plan, it's still up on, the newest version is up on the website. And we are submitting to the state, and Pam can probably, if she wishes to speak a little bit more to that, our ESSER, but this is one phase of our application for that. So I just wanted to give you an update on that information.
Thank you, Dr. Gata.
I have two more items, and one of them, and I think, yes, Mr. Delapiano's on, and maybe if you don't mind, if I could just give a few minutes to Mr. Delapiano to share some good news with you.
Great.
Hello, everyone. Hope everyone's enjoying the start of their summer. We just learned today that the State Department of Education has awarded 10 HOSA students, which is the Health Occupation Students of America, run through our Medical Pathways program. For the second time in 3 years, they won the Outstanding Service Project out of all the high school chapters in the state of Connecticut. They did research and made brochures about the importance of vaccines in the state, both related to COVID and other vaccines. So today received a certificate from the State Department of Education honoring our HOSA students for their accomplishments.
Yes. And so they were recognized, within the context of all of the HOSA chapters in Connecticut. So we're very proud of them. Great job. Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
And one last item, if I may. This message really is to the board members and the Stratford community members from Dr. Robinson. She wants to express her thanks to the board members and the former 5 board chairs and their boards. Thank you to all the staff who do the work in going above and beyond in our district for the good of our students. Thank you to all the community partners that I've had the pleasure of getting to know and have worked with for these past 8 years. Thank you to the mayor and the town council for listening and supporting our students, our schools, and families. And thank you to all the wonderful families who've been so supportive as we've strived to improve curriculum, to improve instruction, and to do all the things necessary that we've done and continue to do in effort to prepare our students and get them ready for college and beyond. It's been a wonderful 8 years, and the district has made a lot of progress. I wish everyone much success and in continued progress, as this is all for the students of Stratford. Thank you, everyone. Dr. Janet Robinson. Thanks.
Thank you, Dr. Gata, and thank you again to Dr. Robinson. It is all for the students. Here we are. I said, "Here's summer, we're all here." But thank you. I'm going to move on to the COO report from Ms. Mangini, and I know Janice had a question from finance that we can roll over to right now as well. So whenever you're ready, Pam.
Okay, I am going to add, Linda had mentioned the ARP ESSER, and I didn't want to interrupt her report, so I will just add that the first part with the reopening plan, as Dr. Gata mentioned, is published. It's on our website. It was due by June 23rd, and obviously we met that requirement. Now, the next steps include the development of a spending plan that will focus on renewal, reducing opportunity gaps, accelerating learning, and advancing equity for all students. This grant application is due in August, and the board will be updated as we move through the process. Obviously, we're waiting for Dr. Sunday to get on so that we could actually get his input with regard to the steps that we want to take and how best to utilize these funds. We do have preliminary discussions that had begun. We had shared some of the ideas and thoughts with the board already, but we are going to be meeting with Dr. Sunday soon, probably his first week, and we have to move quickly on this, obviously. The other thing I wanted to report to the board was the fiscal year 21 year-end projections. We did in fact provide the Finance Committee and the board with our financial report through May 31st, and that was discussed previously this evening, and there will be some transfer requests that the board is being asked to approve this evening as well. The fiscal year 22 budget was approved by the board on June 7th in accordance with the town budget appropriation, and the final budget summary books were provided. The summary is also now on the district website for the public. And there was a question from Janice on the book, which I have to find. Here it is. And Janice, I believe you were looking at the listing of
The
positions that are being
That are
expensed to the ESSER grant.
Correct.
And specifically, you mentioned the scheduling portion of the 1.0 music art elementary teacher. Just want to make
Correct.
sure.
Sorry,
Okay. No worries. And Dr. Gata is here as well, but when we were looking at potential reductions, when we thought perhaps that we would need to have additional reductions to our budget when the mayor first presented the 2.25% increase, we had identified a number of other areas that perhaps we could reduce personnel. This came up simply because we were taking a closer look at how we are scheduling those specials in the elementary schools. And Brian Fraser was working with Dr. Gata, and we are still trying to take a closer look at whether or not there is potential to reduce any of those positions. Obviously, we're not going to do it in fiscal year or school year 21-22, but these are the list that is in your book for staff positions to be expensed, the ESSER grant, are positions that we're saying maybe we need to take another look at. And again, Dr. Robinson was very cognizant of the fact that whatever decisions she made, Dr. Asunde would have to live with. So since the ESSER grant was available, we thought we needed a list of positions to at least have a starting point. And that's really all this is about. As the school year progresses, should there be any vacancies, we as the cabinet in administration will really be talking about, do we need to fill this position? Is there a different way of doing this? And as I said, Dr. Fraser and Dr. Gata have both started those discussions specifically in this area. So again, no immediate changes, but it's going to be an ongoing discussion. And Linda, certainly add anything if I didn't cover it accurately or enough.
No, I think you've summarized it fine. We always continue to look for places where we can, look at being as efficient as possible. But to your point, these are just at this point conversations right now.
Okay, thank you.
No other questions on that. I just had a couple of quick things that I also wanted to share with you. We did talk a little bit about the food service program and the fact that the USDA Seamless Summer Option Program, providing free breakfast and lunch to all students in the district, will continue through June 30th of 2022, and I'm sure that will be very helpful to our families. In addition, the Connecticut State Department of Education approved our agreement with Sodexo through June 30th, 2022, as the board approved previously. And now our plan is to move forward with the RFP process during the new school year. We want to ensure that we do have a new contract for outsourcing our food service management program finalized prior to the deadline date of June 30th, 2022. And lastly, I just thought it was worth sharing with you that the board did participate with the town in their bid for gasoline and diesel fuel. We all recognize that the greater volume, hopefully the greater savings for all of us. And I do think that we secured very competitive pricing for both diesel and regular gasoline. with the volatility right now that we're all seeing, even at the gas pumps for fuel oil, it really does help our budgets to have that fixed price. So as of July 1, we will be dealing with Santa Buckley Energy at a fixed price for both unleaded gasoline and diesel fuel. And that's my report.
Thank you, Pam.
Thank you.
Any questions from board members? Okay, seeing none, moving on to the Director of People Personnel Services. And I know you updated us in finance, Heather, but if you could just give us a brief update during our board meeting. If you are still on. Oh,
Just a brief update. I'm on. Can you hear me?
if your
Sorry.
connection's still there, yeah.
Just a brief. It is. It's been great. Thank you, Ed Malloy. Wonderful connection up here. You guys, just a brief update. As you can see, we're now in the positive. That's due to the transfers from the extra we had in transportation and put it into the out-of-district placements. As I've stated, we're ending the year with 107 students in out-of-district placements and anticipate starting the year around 111. All the other accounts should either end directly at zero or a little bit into the plus. And Kevin spoke a little bit at the past meeting about a stipend that we were able to apply for and receive, and we're going to use that to enhance our testing supplies.
Thank you, Heather. Questions from board members? Okay, seeing none, moving on to the consent agenda. I will first entertain a motion to approve the meeting minutes from May 24th and June 7th.
So moved.
Motion made by Mrs. Corcoran,
I'll second.
second by Mr. Fagella. Any discussion? Seeing none, I'll take a roll call vote. Ms. Cupie?
Yes.
Mrs. Corcoran?
Yes.
Mrs. Rodia?
Yes.
Mr. Fagella?
Yes.
The chair votes yes, passes 5-0. Moving on to item 2, the personnel document. I'll entertain a motion to approve the personnel document for June 2021.
So moved.
Motion made by Mr. Fagella,
Second.
second by Ms. Cupie. Any discussion? Seeing none, I'll take a roll call vote. Ms. Cupie?
Yes.
Mrs. Corcoran?
Yes.
Mrs. Rodia?
Yes.
Mr. Fagella?
Yes.
And the chair votes yes, passes 5-0. Moving on to budget transfers, we will take them one by one. I will first entertain a motion to approve budget transfer number 1, a transfer of funds in the amount of $100,023.47 to cover contractual sick time payouts for retirees. There were more retirements than budgeted for.
So moved.
Motion made by Mrs. Corcoran, seconded by Ms. Cupie. Discussion? As a reminder, these were discussed in finance right before this and moved to the board with a favorable recommendation. I will take a roll call vote. Ms. Cupie?
Yes.
Mrs. Corcoran?
Yes.
Mrs. Rodia?
Yes.
Mr. Fagella?
Yes.
And the chair votes yes, passes 5-0. I'll entertain a motion to approve budget transfer number 2, a transfer of funds in the amount of $45,000 to cover expenses relating to smart boards and a new camera server. There is an immediate need to replace at least 3 smart boards. Additionally, the Worcester camera server continuously goes down, needs to be replaced.
So moved.
Motion made by Ms. Bella, second by Ms. Cupie. Discussion. Seeing none. Ms. Cupie.
Yes.
Mrs. Corcoran.
Yes.
Mrs. Rodia.
Yes.
Mr. Fagella.
Yes.
And the chair votes yes, passes 5-0. I will entertain a motion to approve budget transfer number 3, transfer of funds of $26,000 to cover nursing supply requests. The head nurse is requesting the additional supplies.
So moved.
Motion made by Ms. Cupie,
Second.
seconded by Mrs. Corcoran. Discussion? Seeing none. Ms. Cupie,
Yes.
Mrs. Corcoran,
Yes.
Mrs. Rodia,
Yes.
Mr. Fagella,
Yes.
The chair votes yes, passes 5-0. I will entertain a motion to approve budget transfer number 4, a transfer of funds in the amount of $92,381 to cover the cost of Microsoft Office 2019 for the district and display boards for the boardroom and superintendent's office. The district is currently on Microsoft 2010, which leaves us vulnerable.
So moved.
Motion made by Ms. Fagella, seconded by Ms. Cupie. Discussion. Seeing none, Ms. Cupie,
Yes.
Mrs. Corcoran,
Yes.
Mrs. Rodia,
Yes.
Mr. Fagella,
Yes.
and the chair votes yes, passes 5-0. Moving on to our last and final budget transfer, number 5. I will entertain a motion to approve budget transfer number 5, a transfer funds in the amount of $250,000 to instructional computers. This will be used to purchase computers to be used in the next school year. Purchasing these items now allows for purchasing, delivery, and setup over the summer.
So moved.
Motion made by Ms. Cupie,
I'll second it.
seconded by Mr. Fagella. Any discussion? Seeing none, Ms. Cupie,
Yes.
Mrs. Corcoran,
Yes.
Mrs. Rodia,
Yes.
Mr. Fagella,
Yes.
and the chair votes yes, passes 5-0. Moving on to items for action proposed. I will entertain a motion to authorize the board chief operating officer Pam Mangini and director of finance to make the necessary budget transfers to salary and benefit accounts and to pay other standard charges. These budget transfers may exceed $7,500. The chief operating officer and director of finance will report all budget transfers made to the finance committee and board of education.
So moved.
Motion made by Mrs. Corcoran,
Second.
second by Mr. Fagella. Any discussion? Mrs. Rodia.
Question.
I don't know if we can actually take action on this without it going through policy, because we have a policy that's in place with regard to it having to be approved over $7,500. So I don't think that we can actually take action on this particular part of the request until that is done.
Respectfully, I believe you can. The board can collectively make any adjustments to that. And this also is going to abide by what the financial controls audit reflected, because in the past, I don't think you were as concerned with, and a lot of districts aren't, so it's not that we were doing anything inappropriate, but there's a lot of small amounts that get moved in between salary accounts and benefit accounts, and even utility accounts, and that's really all this will allow us to do. So again, it's up to the board. I don't believe it is inappropriate at all, and the only alternative is you're going to sit here doing about 80 different transfer requests. So however you feel most comfortable.
Andrea, question?
Yeah, are we voting on this just for the end of this fiscal year, or would this be in effect in September or August?
No, our request is simply for a one-time so that we can close our books. Year end, we'll have no accounts that are in deficit at that point. Should something come up that's really big and it doesn't fit as something that's a utility or a salary, we would bring it to you. That we would not do. Again, it's basically housekeeping.
Janice?
Thank you. Pam, I'm looking in the agenda right now. Are these the transfers that you're talking about where it looks like a printout of like a software platform or something?
No, those are the attachments to
Okay.
The transfers that you just approved, numbers 1 through 5.
So this request, you know, I do want to correct something you mentioned, that the board hadn't been concerned about smaller requests in the past. Our policy previously, and this is way before my time on the board, used to be $5,000, and a previous board increased that to $7,500, which I personally think it should stay to $5,000. I would prefer to see these transfers before I approve them. That's just where I stand, as we are trying to work our way through being more transparent in this process. That would be my preference.
Okay, I will just again say, whatever the board decides is fine with us. This is what I have done in every district I've been in, and it's also a matter of you trusting us to clean up what we need to finalize the year. And as far as transparency, I will just again reiterate that we will bring all of them to you. It's just that in a normal year, we wouldn't be able to do these until August, because that's normally your next meeting in the summer. And at that point, we've already completed the state report. So we're going to have to more than likely make the transfers and just kind of, you know, hold them as far as being formally approved until you do. So again, whatever the board is most comfortable with, but I will just once again state that this is not an unusual practice, but I'm fine with whatever.
Vinny, question?
Yeah, would that require a special meeting in July, Pam?
You could certainly do that, and we very well may have to have another meeting because of the ARP-ESSER community forum. So it may not be as problematic this year, but I was kind of hoping to get you used to the process as the years continue, because again, it's just something I've always done. And I'll just also add that I've already talked to Dr. Sunday about cleaning up some of our policies under business and operations as well. So I just think that we need a little bit more ability to just do our jobs the way we normally do, is to clean things up. And I think that was part of the problem with the financial controls audit as well. While we certainly want the board's approval, and I am all about policies, processes, and coming to the board when we need to, this will be cumbersome. These are a lot of little housekeeping adjustments. But again, I want the board to be comfortable. So whatever you decide, we're fine with.
If we don't do this, then we would, and we don't have a special meeting in July, then we would have to approve these in August after you close the books.
Mm-hmm.
Or we couldn't close the books until we had our August meeting.
Yes, officially we could not close them. We would have to just kind of, we would deal with the steps we needed to take without the finalized adjustments. So yes, we couldn't completely and officially close them until you take those actions.
Okay, thank you.
Andrea?
If I'm wrong.
Oh, sorry, she had her hand up. Janice, first.
I'm sorry. How have these end of the year expenses and reporting of them been handled in previous years? Because I don't remember this being an issue last year.
Mm-hmm. From what I can see, and from what your financial controls audit recently identified, is that you did not always clean up deficits in accounts. And honestly, again, I go back to, there are some policies out there in districts that actually say if all your salaries, that's in an object code 100, if you recall from our budget workshops, if in total those are not in deficit, you don't have to make those other types of adjustments between all the other line items. That is not what the financial control audit was recommending. They really want us to stay on top of them, but by the time we got the audit, we did bring many of them to you. But at year end, there are a lot of tweaking, encumbrances that are closed, some that, you know, maybe we're in, we finally had somebody come on late and they're in the wrong account. So there's gonna be a number of them, that's all. And again, it's housekeeping, it's very clean, and we would show them all to you, a list of them afterwards, but whatever you decide.
Janice?
Thank you, Allison. So Pam, correct me if I'm wrong, but we're talking about the ones that are 7,500 or higher, not the entire, you mentioned there will be a bunch of smaller amounts, but we're just asking that our process of approving those that are 7,500 or more be, put forth to us. So
That's fine. There's quite a few. There's going to be some that might be more than that. So whatever you decide.
My other point is, you mentioned earlier building trust, and that, for me personally, that is where I don't want to speak for other board members, but that's where I'm looking to get us. And just making sure that even if we go through a cumbersome process around, we do diligence, and moving forward, we can say, based on that experience, we have confidence in XYZ, we can make such and such adjustments. So still part of that process. You're new here, we're, some of us are relatively new here going through this, and I just think it's a cleaner way as we're working our way through some of the perception that is out there regarding our processes.
Okay, so we are just going to take a vote on this, and wherever it falls, obviously that's what's going to happen. Karen, question before we take a vote?
I just want to clarify something. I have a preliminary copy of the draft copy of the financial review, and the recommendation was eliminate the ability within ALIO to allow a deficit account balance. That's number one. Configure the ALIO system to not allow an account to be in deficit position when processing any type of transaction, such as a purchase order, accounts payable, or payroll. This will force budget transfers to be required as part of any account deficits and ensure that line item and or overall budgets are not overspent without board approval and action. That's what the recommendation was.
There's more though, Karen, and there's different sections, and other sections go on to state that we should bring our transfer requests to you within 30 days. And it also goes on to indicate that payroll is always the area that we can't always hold up to bring a transfer to you, because contractually we must pay people.
Right. No, and I understand that.
So those are the two areas that we're asking for this.
I understand that. And this is again a draft report, not the final. I don't have a final. So
that was a properly marked draft. You may recall that we did send you the final. In the final, it was the same thing. They just forgot to take, they being the auditors, forgot to take the watermark off. But
okay. Yeah, I wasn't sure.
I know, it was confusing.
Yeah. But that's...
Okay. Well, we're going to take a roll call vote now for the motion on the floor. So I'm going to start with Ms. Cupie.
No.
Mrs. Corcoran?
With the assumption that then this is for end of the year only, yes.
Mrs. Rodia?
Oh, I am really not comfortable without it going through the proper, the language has to be amended in the motion, so for the one time only piece, I'm gonna say I prefer that anything 7,500 and above we still authorize.
So you are can you just be clear with a yes or no, Karen?
I guess it's a no.
Mr. Fragella?
I'm gonna vote yes, based on what Andrea commented on also, so.
And the chair votes yes, passes 3-2. Moving on to item 5, under items for action, I will entertain a motion for a request for authorization of the board of the Chief Operating Officer and Director of Finance to pay the outstanding balance to Sodexo for the food service program. These budget transfers may not exceed $1.2 million. The Chief Operating Officer and the Director of Finance will report the total amount transferred to the Finance Committee and the Board of Education.
So moved. I'll move
Motion
it.
made by Mr. Fagella,
Second.
seconded by Mrs. Corcoran. Discussion, or Pam, did you want to comment?
Yeah, if you don't mind. I know in reading this, it probably seems like, oh my goodness, what are you being allowed to do? This is something that we have spoken about. I think within my third week here, I learned that we had this significant deficit in the food service program. And as we talked about earlier and in Finance Committee, it did grow quite a bit due to the pandemic, the shutdowns, and our decreased number of serving days. All this request is allowing us to do is take whatever is left in our year-end balance up to 1.2 million, if in fact we have that much, and currently we are projecting that, and encumber the funds so that we can pay once and for all Sodexo and start on a clean slate. And we would not just go ahead and issue the check immediately. We would make certain that we reviewed all the invoices, that we came to an agreement that this is the outstanding amount. I have no reason to believe it's not accurate, but we will certainly make certain it is before we do that. And at the very least, I really do feel that this is the board's one-time chance to finally eliminate this deficit. So that's why I'm doing this, because right now, to identify each and every account, we can get there, but we just really need to encumber the money by June 30th. So we would be working on that tomorrow.
Janice?
Thank you. Pam, could you clarify, the funding of this program is usually not out of our operating budget, correct?
Normally,
I think I asked you that question. Okay, so it has its own funding source. However, now we're being asked to fix, issues with that from our operating budget.
I just need to clarify that it doesn't necessarily have its own funding source. Our goal is for it to be a break-even program, but the Board of Education is responsible for the program and any deficits in that program.
Got it. Thank you.
Any other questions from board members? Seeing none, I'll take a roll call vote. Ms. Cupie?
Yes.
Mrs. Corcoran?
Yes.
Mrs. Rodia?
Yes.
Mr. Fagella?
Yes.
And the chair votes yes, passes 5-0. Moving on to item 6, I will entertain a motion for the adoption of the policy P5131.42, the virtual remote learning code of conduct. This was the second read.
So moved.
Motion made by Mrs. Rodia,
I'll second.
seconded by Mr. Fagella. Questions, discussion? We did see this, I believe it was just last month for the first time. Okay, seeing none, Ms. Cupie?
Yes.
Mrs. Corcoran?
Yes.
Mrs. Rodia?
Yes.
Mr. Fagella?
Yes.
And the chair votes yes, passes 5-0. And our last item for action this evening is I will entertain a motion to accept a formal donation of a baby grand piano for Stratford High School.
So moved.
Motion made by Mrs. Rodia,
Second.
seconded by Mrs. Corcoran. Mr. Delapiano, do we know who this baby grand is from? I feel like we were told, but
I think Dr. Frazier has more information on that. I just learned about it today, but it's a gentleman from Milford, I believe.
okay. Is he related to Stratford Public Schools at all, or just we don't know.
Trying to recall the conversation, I believe he did attend Stratford Public Schools. And the piano currently at Stratford, I'm sorry, the piano currently at Stratford High School, from what I understand, cannot be tuned. It would be about a $20,000 to $30,000 fix, so this comes at a good time.
It's great. I can't wait to get his name and information so we can send him a formal thank you. So, Karen?
That's what I was just going to say was whoever he is, thank you very much for thinking of Stratford students. This will be a blessing to them. So once we get your name, we'll announce it formally. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, I will take a roll call vote. Ms. Cupie?
Yes.
Mrs. Corcoran?
Yes.
Mrs. Rodia?
Yes.
Mr. Fragella?
Yes.
And the chair votes yes, passes 5-0. Tabled items.
Dr. Gaeta had something to add.
Dr. Gaeta, yes.
Yes, through the wonders of technology, I have heard from Dr. Frazier. The man donating the piano is George Adams. He and his 4 siblings all graduated from the Stratford Public Schools in the 1960s and 70s. He also had a law office in Stratford until 2013.
Well, thank you, Mr. Adams, and we appreciate it. It's great.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Table items, going once. Going twice. Okay. Moving on, no old business, no new. Moving on to committee reports. I'm going to start with you, Mr. Fragella. Do you have any update for us on school planning that met on June 3rd?
Yes. That meeting, Brian Snyder of Snyder Architects was going to begin a facilities assessment of the schools, the buildings, that should be completed by the end of the summer. He wanted to do it during the summer when there were no students in the schools. That was going to then be worked in with the SLR study of the enrollment and of the various population groups in town, student population groups in town. After that study is completed, I believe that SLR will then merge that with the study that they've done to provide the planning committee with the information to look at the buildings, to look at the possible districting or redistricting to balance the population in the schools. So I am hoping that by our August 5th meeting, we would have that report from Snyder Architects to review. But then again, I think we will have to meet after the SLR group completes their assessment, incorporating the 2 studies. And I would think that we might possibly need a special meeting and not have to wait till the next regular meeting of planning. I would also hope that we can, when we get the information, meet in person, because I think it's very difficult over Zoom to go over all that information and to make certain assessments and recommendations for the board. So that's where we are with planning right now. I don't know if there's any questions from anyone.
Janice?
I do have a question, Vinny. So in the last meeting, it was requested to send the enrollment analysis to
Yes,
all the board
report.
members, town council, and the mayor, and things like that. Was that distributed yet?
Not that I know of, Denise. I never received an email, so hopefully maybe we can make that formal request now that that's sent out. Maybe by Teresa or.
I would like to add that the superintendent's office was taking care of that, and Teresa told me that it was.
Yeah, I believe it's
on the
posted on
website.
the website, yes.
Maybe we could have it sent directly.
We should
Yeah,
send
I
an
believe
email
that
to all
that
these
report
people
is
with the
so
links to it.
detailed.
Yeah.
Excuse me, that report is so detailed that the board really should have it in front of them at paper copy. Because just scrolling through the online version is difficult to make comparisons and so forth. But that's my opinion, so.
Great. Teresa, I'd like to request that for all board members, a printed copy. And also if we could email, maybe you just email the link to board members and town council as almost a reminder, because I know it was talked about and then.
Right, I'll go back and look. I was almost certain we had done that because we did put it on the website and sent the link out, but I'll go back and check, but we'll make sure that it is.
Great, thank you so much.
I will, if I can just, one more, I will comment that I shared it with my wife because she chairs the Commission on Aging, because there was a lot of information in there that applied to senior citizens. And that section of the SLR report she shared with her commission. So I think it is helpful to other groups in town.
Thank you so much, Vinny. Karen, did you want to speak about finance at all this evening? You're muted.
Sorry, we met before the evening tonight, before the meeting tonight for the board, and we voted on the budget transfers via the board to move them favorably. And, you know, I mean, I think that Teresa will summarize it quite nicely in the minutes that, you know, we're moving forward and waiting for our new administration to come in. So, thank you.
Great. Okay, I don't think any other committees met this month, as it was very busy with end of year activities, graduations, award ceremonies, and a lot of celebratory events, which was fantastic. Vinny?
Well, CES did meet.
Oh.
And is on the list, but the only two things that really were outstanding with that meeting was that they had determined their dates for meeting in 2022, and they also voted to extend the contract of the executive director till 2024. So those were the two highlights of that meeting. So I felt in good conscience I would report that. Thank you.
Thank you, Vinny. Dr. Gaeta, did you have Was I muted, Dr. Gaeta?
Sorry, I didn't put my hand down from before.
Okay. Okay, so seeing no other business this evening, our new superintendent, Dr. Asunde, does start July 1. So there'll be a lot of action down on East Broadway, a lot of happenings. And our next Board of Ed meeting will be a special meeting on Tuesday, August 24th with Dr. Asunde, unless we have a special meeting before then. Andrea?
Will that meeting be virtual or in person or a hybrid?
Well, that is a great question. It will be in person. It will be in person. So I'm looking forward to that as well. So hopefully the boardroom is ready for us. Okay. I will entertain a motion to adjourn. Ms. Cupid? Oh, okay. Seconded by Mrs. Rodia. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Chair votes yes. Thank you. Enjoy summer. And see everyone soon.
Happy summer.
Bye, guys.
Happy summer.
Night.
Enjoy your summer.